Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us again here on Aspiration Inspiration with me, Jayson George, where we aspire to inspire before we expire. And today we have this guest with us today. This is Darren Francis. Darren is an award-winning property investor, and he hails from Mitchell's Plain, Tafelsig Mitchell's Plain at that. Darren, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, good evening. How's it, guys? Thank you so much, Jayson, for inviting me on this awesome program. I've seen a couple of your things, and you're doing really well. And I'm really honored to be part of the show tonight. So thank you.
Nah, no problem. I mean, the pleasure and honor is all mine. So Darren, I mean, I've been following your journey a while now on social media, and seeing all the awards coming through. I mean, a crazy stat I read about you is that you flipped 6 properties in 18 months or something. And another stat I saw is like you started with this vacant field somewhere in Mitchell's Plain in like November, and we're now, or like December even, and we're now like just in the beginning of Feb, and there's a house standing there with people having moved in. So, I mean, before we get into all of that, and we'll chat about all of that, talk to us a little bit about you, Darren. Like, where did you grow up? Like your earliest childhood memories, and share a bit of anecdotes with us.
Yeah, perfect. So thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. So I grew up. I was born in Bishop Levers. The Cape Flats is in my blood.
In the blood.
At the age of 4, we moved to Tafelsig, where I basically lived for most of my life, well into my adult life. I only moved out of Tafelsig at the age of 28.
Yeah.
So for 24 years, I was in Tafelsig.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a different experience. And I believe you come from Tafelsig as well.
Yes, sir. I was gonna say good people come from Tafelsig, man.
Absolutely.
Brilliant people.
Absolutely. And growing up in Tafelsig, life is very different. It's very different. People think that when you come from the Tafelsigs, the Manenbergs, you can just one day just muster up the courage and just go and go into certain things. But a lot of people don't understand that there are such a lot of social economic things that keeps people behind.
Yeah.
And if you really look at the amount of people that make it out of Tafelsig, it's a handful.
Yeah.
It's a handful. I'm sure you can attest to that as well, Jayson. But back to where I come from. So I'm a married man, beautiful wife. I've got 2 beautiful daughters, Emily and Taylor. My wife's name is Marceline. I lived in Mitchell's Plain after moving from Tafelsig to Portland. I currently reside in Muizenberg, but I'm basically in Mitchell's Plain almost every day.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think you mentioned something interesting there. Like when you started, just about the opportunities available to people in areas like Mitchell's Plain, and then you ending up in an area like Muizenberg. That's a big feat to be able to get out of a community, where there's gangsterism, there's drug abuse, there are things that are not necessarily the most savory things, occurring in our areas. Not everyone makes it out, as you say, and people, and there are different views on that. Some people say you must stay in the community to plow back into the community. But your story is a bit interesting because you are now in Muizenberg, but you still invest in property in Mitchell's Plain. So talk to us about that decision for you that you've made as a property investor to stay in Mitchell's Plain in that respect.
So what I did, so in 2009, so I tried to do something different. My father was a taxi driver, and I'm very proud.
My father was a taxi driver as well.
Yeah. So he worked on 7th Avenue and Hazeldean. And I was very humble beginnings.
Mm.
And in 2009, I read a book. A previous manager of mine gave me a book. And he said, "Yeah, my wife gave me this book.
Mm.
It was called How to Make Money Out of Property in South Africa, written by Jayson." And he gave me this book and he said, "Read this book." Now, I never knew at the time that I had a special thing.
Mm.
I'm not going to mention it now. And I read this book. I only read 15 pages of the book, and immediately I understood what the author was telling me. Right? My mind was blown, and I set off in doing this thing. But as I was doing the research and so on, putting my strategies together, I came over this saying. It's a Brazilian thing.
Yeah.
Is all about buying up the wood. So the ethos or the aim behind buying up the wood is basically when you work on yourself as the individual.
Yeah.
You better yourself before you help anyone in your community. First, help yourself.
Mm.
When you have discovered who you are, where you're at, then with all that knowledge, go back and plow what you know into the community. And for me, it was like that first sentence, buying up the wood. I was like, hey, I want to get into property. Why don't I just begin in my on my property journey in Mitchell's Plain? And that is how why I started plowing back. It's basically through making the changes, buying houses, renovating them, flipping them, building developments. It's all about bringing the right people into a community that is looked at. Oh God, no, I don't want to go and stay there. But it's bringing in those kind of caliber of people into a neighborhood. It's one family, maybe two families, three families. But over time, those things change, and you'll see people's behavior changes, etc., and they'll do the same. And that is why I'm so fond of Mitchell's Plain, investing in Mitchell's Plain, one house at a time. I want to change not just one family, but the entire community. So
that's amazing. That's amazing, man. And so talk to us about, if you had to look back, your first property that you started with. When you think about that, talk to us about how you started there. What was it like? What were the challenges that you faced there? And what kind of lessons did you take from that first property that you had to
Yeah. I call my first property the beautiful nightmare. So that property, whatever problem you can think of, and everything that could go wrong happened in that particular property. So to give you a quick background, so that particular house, and maybe you'll know this because I see you in the law fraternity. You remember a few years ago, they found a lady who was dumped in the bin.
I think I recall the story.
Yeah, she. Now I bought that house.
Sure.
So that was my first house that I bought. So that house literally you could stand by the front door, and through every wall you could see through, because they gutted the house. The only thing that was left, and I had the photographs to prove it, even the door frames was gone. The only thing left in that house was a toilet pot.
Yes, so
the inside metal things of the toilet pot gone. No running water, no electricity. Oh, the toilet pot and ceilings.
That was ceilings.
You know, and that particular house, it took us a few months to get it right. But it took me years to get to that particular point. After I had the negotiations with the family, we settled on a price, and I believe in making people fair offers. It's not about me becoming rich, because rich is old fashioned. You want to be wealthy, and I told myself, you know what, with every deal that I do, I want to make sure that I win, but most importantly, the person that's selling also wins.
Yeah.
It needs to be a win-win for everyone, right? And everyone that walked into that house in the beginning, right? You remember the cops broke down the door.
Yeah, can you imagine?
That house was a wreck, dude. So everyone, the neighbors were too afraid to walk into that house.
Yeah.
The gangsters, even the gangsters didn't want to walk into that house. It was literally, people were afraid. And one day I got the bank, the bank came. I'm not going to mention the bank. The validator came. The guy gets out of the car, and he stands by the front door. We open the front door, and he looks at this house like this. He cannot see. I'm looking through walls, and he walks in, and he goes as far as the kitchen, and he walks out, and he's like, "No, this place is not fit for a dog. You can do whatever, but we won't finance this." Anyway, long story short, I was like, you know what? You don't know the determination, dedication, and discipline I have.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it my mission. A lot of people have told me, no, I cannot do it.
Yeah.
But I've surprised myself, and I'm here at this point where I'm going to buy my first investment house, and nobody's going to stop me. Long story short, we got the money, we did our thing, and we sold the place. And lo and behold, that same validator came to the property, and he saw me, and he's like, "You again, this house again. Okay, let's see what this place is about." And he walks in by the front door, and he stands by the front door. He goes into each and every room. Now we've done I'm talking about we've done a lot of renovations.
Yes, sir.
And he walks into each and every room, and he stands in the kitchen, and he's looking, and he goes into the rooms again, and he walks out. He walks past me, and he goes sits in the car, and he's on his phone, and he gets out again, and he comes in again, and he's looking, and I'm like, "Are you okay? Are you finding the value?" He says, "My brother, is this the same house that I came in? That I looked at a few months ago?" I told him, "Yeah, it's the same place." He told me, "Dude, I can't discuss numbers with you, but whatever you're looking for, you have it."
Yeah, that's amazing.
Even if he said, as I was living, even if you wanted more, you would have it.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a lot of change that we brought to that property, but it's part of what I do. It's a building that we saved before it was completely gutted.
Yeah.
And we made it into something nice, very decent. And there's a very beautiful family that's now part of that community.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I was gonna ask you on a lighter note, you know, like what is your superpower and why? But I think you basically mentioned your superpower. But I mean, you flipping those kinds of properties must be like super challenging, and you know, not knowing where to begin. But I guess you know, on a lighter note for the viewers, for the listeners, if you could have any superpower, you know, Darren, what would it be, and why would it be that?
So I would have my ADHD on steroids. So a few years ago, I've been diagnosed with ADHD, high functioning ADHD, and I jokingly said that is my superpower. I have the ability to read things, to comprehend very quickly. I have the ability to think of multiple things at the same time. How I do it, I don't know. I figure out very complex things and find the simplest solution for it. I've sat with CEOs of big hospitals and so on, and I would be sitting there. And I was like, "You got this problem. This was not a problem. if you do this, that." So that is where I knew.
Yeah.
Right. That's my superpower. Until the doctor told me, Darren, that's not normal.
Yeah.
A normal person has one job. I was like, one job? That is so boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you already have a superpower. So I was like, you already...
Yeah. No, I'm not interested in flying. I'm definitely not interested in flying. It's all happening. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's incredible, man. Thanks for sharing that. And so going from where you started, if you are willing to divulge, talk to us a bit about the property portfolio now. What does it look like now? What are the goals? What is the end goal? What this is the kind of property development that I want to work on, or that I'm currently working on. Talk to us a bit about from that first nightmare, beautiful nightmare, to where you are now.
Yeah. So since 2019, I've been flipping, and I've been involved in about 15 deals.
1-5.
1-5. But remember, there's 2 years where I literally just threw the line because of SARS issues. But because you need to be clever, and you need to think on your feet in this game. So I own quite a number of properties in Mitchell Spain, across Mitchell Spain, mostly Portland's. I even own property in Tafelsig as well. So yeah. I do rentals. I've got a number of rentals, and yeah. I'm getting into flipping again this year.
Okay.
Because the SARS man is now.
I saw that you did a property lease recently where there was an open field somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me about that. There's a house now. There are people in there. What happened there?
Yeah. So part of my the big plan. So I'm already working on 2025 already. So when I bought the land, I bought the land with proceeds that I made from all the flips that I did. I bought another house, and these are all cash, because it's and anyway, that's another topic for another day. And I bought the land with a view. Okay, I'm going to build, and I knew the market was going to be bad over the next year. Or next year and a half or two. So I'm not going to do any deals during that time. And my intuition, my research has been spot on.
I've been following, and all the time when you say something, these are the 5 predictions, and then the 5 predictions come through, and this is the next prediction, and then
dude. So now I'm actively busy. So the development we did in Portland was an open field for many years, and we actually built 3 units. So it's 2 houses and an apartment. So there's 3 families living there comfortably.
Yeah.
It's been an incredible ride. We started in the 5th of November, building out of the foundations, and people moved in on the 20th of Jan.
Yeah, just so. No, when I saw that, I thought that was incredible. How it went from like nothing to something, and there are pictures to show for it. So big
Yeah.
ups to you on that. So something else I saw that you a few years ago, and I don't know, you know, if there are any recent awards as well. You won 2 awards. The one was you won. Is it Investor for Change? Investor for Change Award, you know, with the South African Property Investors Network, and then you also won Investor of the Year. And those were some big news, you know, that came through for a guy from Mitchell's Plain, you know. And I saw the names that were there, and I saw the kinds of investors that are there, and I was like, this is our own person winning these awards. How did that make you feel? What does it take to get that kind of recognition, and what did that mean to you?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I never thought I was going to win. I wasn't there for that. The only reason why I joined that competition, and I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, was to rub shoulders with like-minded individuals.
Yes, the networking.
Everything that I've done, all the flipping, it's literally me teaching myself.
Yeah.
And I needed, and I knew for my next, I need to start speaking to these people.
Yeah.
Anyway, I joined the competition, and every time I go through to the next time, remember this is now investors across South Africa, and I pulled it down to 80 people, 88 people in fact, and there were guys that were doing 50 million rand deals. And
I saw those numbers.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I'm here for the goal. We have to learn.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was brutally honest with people, and I want to show you. Yeah. So this was the whole reason why I got involved in this competition. And through my experts, like I told you in the beginning, it's more about changing the community. And during COVID, you started this program in COVID. I did most of my flips during COVID. Cyril, and I'm probably going to need you to come and be my attorney. I broke all the laws that there was during lockdown.
No admission, don't put any admissions of guilt.
Yeah. So I was quite busy during that period because I knew the market was gonna explode, and lo and behold, it exploded. Nonetheless, coming back to Investor of the Change, so a lot of the guys who were at home, the guys that worked with their hands, because I come from Tafelsig, a lot of these people were down, and they literally had nothing. But they were looking forward to the 350 rand. And that was their sustenance for the month. And I told myself, you know what? Me doing what I'm doing, if I employ people from my neighborhood, I'm not only meeting the goal, changing my hood, but I'm also putting food on the table. And during that period, I created about 52 or 58 short-term jobs. And that was literally for an 18-month period. There were guys who I then later on gave a business to, bought a machinery, and so on. That business didn't go well, but it's you live and you learn. You live and you learn. We grew. Let me rather say, we grew too quickly. We grew too quickly. We in our first 2 months we had like R1 million turnover.
Yes.
You know, and it was unsustainable. But you have to fail. You have to fail to succeed. You cannot. Success needs failure. But anyway, and that was the whole ethos behind me going for this Investor for Change. I think at the time I was doing good stuff for the community, and on the night, as predicted, I'm like, ooh, my competitor, because there was two in each category. He was a medical doctor and doing phenomenal things. And I was like, you know what? I come from Tafelsig, brother. Relax. you in Johannesburg, savor the moment. All you look around you, you're seeing CEOs of
Yeah.
this CEO of that tile place, CEO of this, And I was like, you're sitting in the company of very, very prominent people.
Yeah.
Just relax. And there they call my name. I'm the winner.
Yes.
And surprised and everything.
Yeah.
And then final, and then this body came.
Eh,
And they called my name for Investor of the Year. I was shocked, dude. I was completely shocked.
yeah.
And I was very emotional that evening
Nah, I can
because a boy
imagine. Yeah.
from Tafelsig,
Yeah.
a son, his father was a taxi driver,
Yeah.
a teacher or teachers that said, I will amount to nothing.
Yeah.
I will be a street sweeper.
Mm.
I've just won an award and been nominated and the investor of the year.
Yes, sir.
Everything that I've taught
Yes,
myself.
sir.
So
That's
yeah.
amazing. It's amazing. And I think our teachers, I think they must stop saying stuff like that to our kids, because kids are doing
Yeah,
amazing things these days. And I mean,
absolutely.
it's incredible what people achieve because of that. But
Yeah.
before we draw things to a close, you are in the process of writing a book.
Yep.
And I just wanted to ask you a little bit about that. What can we
Yep.
expect from this book? When will it be available? What are
Yep.
some of the things that we can read there, and why should someone buy this book?
Yes. So the book is in its final stages. It's everything is done. It's with the final editor, the proofing editor. So it has done a whole transformation. Why should people buy this book, or what's the book about? The book is literally about my life's journey. The book is called Failing to My Success,
Yes, sir.
a failures guide to making millions in property.
I'm
So
already
the
sold.
book
I'm
tells you.
buying. I'm sold.
Thanks, man. So the book tells you about my failures, how I grew up as a child, all the horrible things that happened to me, and I share all. And then I take you on a journey of how I changed my mindset. People don't understand. Poverty is not money. Poverty is a mindset. And I changed my mindset. And through that, I take people on their journey and I share with them how I got into the property industry.
Yeah.
And I share the numbers and how to do it as well.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think I'm looking forward to that, just that practical insights from someone that we can relate to, someone that we can
Yep.
understand, in the language that we understand. I think that's what
Yep.
I'm most excited about for that book. So, and I mean, I wish you all of the
Yeah.
best in that process. And, obviously,
Thanks, man.
I'm sure I'll be sure to get me my copy. And if you're a viewer, please get you your copy as well.
Please.
And let's get investing. Let's become, and just not, if you're not going to invest in property, I think it's like just to become more smarter about our investments,
Yep.
other people's lessons, and
Yeah.
financial literacy is also a big thing that people need to, I think,
Absolutely.
learn. So Darren, this is the last question. Someone that's listening to your story, and they a young person, older person looking to get into the property market, or just looking for some sort of inspiration to get going again. What would your advice be to that person, based on what your journey has been and lessons you've learned?
Thanks for that, man. So the first thing that I want to tell someone is you are powerful beyond measure. You yourself don't know how powerful and intelligent you are. You don't need anyone to tell you that you are beautiful, intelligent. You don't need anyone. Everything that you need is inside of you. The one thing that you must not do, and is not to give up.
Yeah.
You have to work against everything. People saying no, people saying you cannot. You need to have a fortified thought process where you believe in yourself 100% without any wavering doubt. So for me, it's guys, if I can do it. Jayson also, he's an attorney. Tafelsig, kill me quick. If we can do it, we come from the lowest of the low, considered to be the lowest. Look at us now. Look at us. We are the mirror that says that you can.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's important. I see the opening cupboards there in the back. So I think that's a message for us to get going. That's all good. But Darren, thank you very much, for sharing
thank you so much, man.
sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much.
And sharing those nuggets of wisdom. I really appreciate your time. Any final thoughts that you want to share with our viewers?
So yes, I would love people to ask questions, to ask me questions how I did it. I'm open to sharing, because I want to create more wealthy people. My book launch, I'm even considering opening it up to a lot of people. It's an open invitation.
Yeah.
And I'm going to post details of where it's going to be. Okay. Jayson, I'm definitely going to send you an invite.
I appreciate it.
I definitely want people to come out and listen to I don't want to say a colored story, but an African story.
Yes, sir.
Because our stories are very similar.
Yeah.
I might have a different name, a different clique, different skin color.
Yeah.
Story is similar. And I want you to come and listen, read about my story, and you'll be surprised what you're going to discover in there. But when you discover it, I also give you a pathway on how to make money. So
yes, sir. Appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Darren Francis there. Thank you so much again for joining us here on Aspiration.
Thank you so much.
Where, as always, we aspire to inspire before we expire.